Hello, my fellow educators. Welcome to another session of STEM learning. Previous sessions, we had looked at what STEM learning is, how STEM learning works, where we merge subjects together, what that looks like. And we know that one of the first things that we do, because STEM learning is an inquiry approach, it's about asking questions, guiding the children through a process, a learning journey, till they come to their own conclusion about what it is they are learning. So we're not teaching them what is the circulatory system. The circulatory system is, no, we're asking questions and guiding them with the STEM learning. And being it's STEM education, we are bringing other subjects into it. So everything is holistic and nothing is really taught in isolation. No subject is taught in isolation. And to do that in the classroom, in the day-to-day classroom, the STEM learning goes through 5 phases. We first of all start with the hook, which is the big picture question, the question that gets the children's attention, and they're asking questions and you're guiding them and they're answering it and trying to find answers that make sense based on the information that they already know or things that they're hearing from their classmates as well, and coming up with new ideas, maybe finding that, some of my information I had, that might not really be true based on things that are also being shared. So we start with that, phase 1, big picture question. Then we move on to phase 2, which is the investigation, because they're trying to find answers if what they know is correct or if they don't really have that much information about it. And we're going to move on to the investigation phase towards finding the answer, the big picture and question, and answer to the big picture question. So we're going to investigate with the subjects, and that's where we intentionally merge learning objective from different subjects to make sure that it leads all subjects, sort of keep guiding the children to finding the answer to this big picture question. And remember, the big picture question always starts with a science topic. The big picture question is generated from a science topic. The science, like we said, is the vehicle, and all the other subjects are the passengers on this investigation. Now, while the children are still going on an investigation, they are going to create something along the way, which is why STEM learning is hands-on. There must be a time in the lesson, in the learning, where the children have put together something. And that building does not necessarily mean that it would only be for the science topic. The building might take part in maths, it might take part in an English lesson, it might take part in the music lesson. And that building does not always have to be tangible per se. It could be a form of play where the children are doing a game or they come up with their own game. It could be they come up with a song, they come up with some drama skit, but they are creating something that is helping to consolidate or find answers to their questions. Or the things they've discovered, even, they've put it together in a way that they've created something in a way that is personal to them as well. So there's that phase where there's the creation. And then there is, after creation, they've put together their findings and their findings could come in things they've created. Like I said, there also should be the opportunity for them to present. Now, I know that this timetable is always tight, which is why it's so important at the beginning of the year to make sure that the subjects are merged together. Because when subjects are merged together, the English lesson or the social studies lesson could actually be an opportunity to do presentation. That's the kids have written down or they've recorded, depends on the resources that is available to your school, and it's time for them to share this information. And that sharing information, that presentation, could be done in groups. So it could be a group of 5 children could present to another group of 5 children during the social studies session, and vice versa. It could be they're presenting to the whole class. It depends on how you structure your learning. Now, phase 1, like I said, is the question, the big picture question, which is the hook. Phase 2 is investigation. Phase 3 is the creation, and phase 4 presentation. Now we move on to phase 5, the final stage of the learning. Phase 5 is reflection. Reflection meaning that the children reflect on what it is that they've learned, what it is they didn't know at the start, what it is they know now, things that they could do differently if they were given this topic, or maybe in another subject that they would do differently to make sure the learning outcome is stronger, and things like this. So it's very important. Now, phase 4 is also really important, which is the presentation, because that is one phase that gives you the opportunity to develop the feedback skill. Feedback meaning that the children can give feedback correctly, in the right way, constructive feedback, and they can receive feedback as well. And that is something that is so needed for children to learn early, because they know that this is the way things are done. This is life. That, oh, you're telling me I didn't do something I did could be done better or be improved. They know what constructive feedback looks like, because it's something that is meant to help them improve, not to put them down. And they also will learn how to give others feedback, because that's what presentation is about. You the teacher might start off giving feedback, modeling to them what constructive feedback during presentation looks like, but they themselves must also give feedback to their colleagues and classmates as they provide presentation. All right, I'm sure this has been very useful. So if you have any questions, comments, or things that you're also doing that is STEM related in your classroom that would be of benefit to the community, please do share. Till next time, bye.